Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. After yesterday's review of the Jäger, where I played 8 games, I played another 10 or so today and I won all but one, so my win rate went up from 38% to 65%. And yeah, I guess some of you will question my review from yesterday and say, oh, I wasn't just trained the ship, whatever. But actually, that's not the case. And I will have 1 hour of most of my games of today, and you will see why the ship performs in certain situations and in others it doesn't. And on top, of course, you need to be very skilled in certain situations to pull off some stunt where you usually won't do that. We kick off with probably a damage record game, 225,000. I pulled in this one 37 torpedo hits, I think. So be prepared for some fun here. And in total, I think we have 7 or 8 games. So different situations. You can see the Jäger really extended testing. And what this is all about is the ship performs when you have not much radar around. So you can deal probably with one radar, and you want to be on capture the base most of the time. So the ship has a hard time in domination because it's very hard to contest caps. So you rely on your team to contest caps. You have to be the flanker. You have to find your way through to the back. So you can torp the cruisers camping, the battleships camping. You can assist somebody like here I do in torping certain spots. But the strength of this ship is going sideways flank, and you can see what I'm going to do with the unhulled. I'm pulling the reload booster and throwing 24 torps at the unhulled, and that's quite interesting. And this is probably the strength of this ship. So if you are lucky to be in a good environment, which means almost no radar and no carrier for sure, because the ship doesn't have AA. Then you might be able to do some, let's say, to have some impact by killing battleships mainly and some cruisers. The guns are to be used, and you can see that in this game, mainly for defense. I'm trying to pull off the Kraken at the end, but I'm shooting probably 2 minutes at a Loyang, and I can't just get it down. So unfortunately, the guns are so weak, it's really a shame. Nevertheless, most of the games are without carriers. Some of them are with, and you can see how I deal with carriers and how I try to avoid the carriers. And this is the only chance you have in that game. So this game is a background flanker, and you really have to anticipate what people will be doing, where to top. And you probably will also notice I'm almost always using this cone, the small cone, so the narrow angle to torp, and I more or less send all the torps in the same spot most of the time to have an impact. So I've seen some people using wide cone. I wouldn't advise that. I wouldn't do zone torping because the impact is almost zero. You want to make sure you do some damage to the ships and the reload is fast enough. The HE spammers, they trigger the DC and you might be happy to get a flood. But this is a very good game to show in out of 37 games, torpedo hits, I triggered, I think, 13 floods. So 1/3 of the torpedoes were triggering floods. So let's say out of 20-25 games, I can say the flood chance is probably around 40% in average, 40-45%. So I have games where I hit 60% floods out of 100% torpedo hits. And I have others like this one where I have 1/3 of my torpedoes triggering floods. So I think the flood chance is somewhat in between, like 40-50%. Yeah. Again, you have to go around and you have to really pull off some stunts here. You will see that with the radar cruiser later. So now I'm focusing on the flounder. I'm chasing the 2 battleships, and later on I'm torping the radar ship, and asking him to come over. So I'm hiding behind an island and wait until I have him inside my secure spotting. Unfortunately, the remaining battleship is not going to spot for me. He's hiding behind an island. So I have to wait for the radar cruiser to come within my 2 kilometer range, and then I go for the suicide ambush. So you have to pull stunts like that if you want to perform in that ship. So it's really hard work in that ship. In other Tier 7 destroyers, it's much less work if you want to perform. And also my average XP is much lower than in the other Tier 7 premium destroyers, because you have a hard time to get the caps. So you're usually lacking like 500 XP for a cap or two. So that's why my average XP is pretty lower than with my other Tier 7 premium DDs. But if you want to if you're looking for a challenge and want to play a destroyer which is not easy to play and which has a very high skill ceiling, then consider this one to be a challenge, and like I did here. But again, it's hard work and it's pretty frustrating most of the time, especially if you have a carrier on your head. I have games when the carrier spots me early on and there's nothing you can do. 3 ships shooting at you, the game is over after 2 minutes. So you have games like these, and this is what I mentioned in my review. The average performance is much lower, and you can pull a little bit better performance in terms of XP if you hang around in the back, if you hope for your teams, and if you're lucky with your team, you can also pull off some wins. So like I said, I was on a win streak of 9 games, I think, this afternoon. And the main reason is I had very limited carriers. I think I had only 2 or 3 carrier games out of 12 games or so I played, or 14. Yesterday I had like 4 or 5 out of the 8 games were carrier games. So in a carrier game is over pretty easy, unless you go all the way around, and then you have a very limited impact because it just takes too long to get around. But if you're lucky and the enemy plays in your favor, then you can pull off some quite okay games. And usually let's say I claim back my MVP in the average game. So in the average game, in every other destroyer, I'm usually MVP, or let's say top 2 of my team. And very rarely I get caught by a torpedo and end last. But in this destroyer, I tend to be more often on 4th, 5th, and 6th of my team than being top 1 or 2. Still, you can pull these games, but it's less likely because you lack the cap, because you don't have the gun. So you want to avoid the destroyers. This is one basic tactic. You can try to spot them, but with 5.4 concealment, a lot of Tier 7 and Tier 8, and especially Tier 6 destroyers will outspot you. And so you have to be lucky if you run into a gunboat and you can, let's say, sail at his range of concealment to keep him open, then you can have some impact. But then again, you have teams who don't bother to shoot these destroyers you're spotting, and you waste 2 minutes of your game highlighting a destroyer and they shoot a battleship. So that can be really frustrating. So this is the situation I was mentioning earlier. I'm topping the rooster, and my battleship, my spotter is in the back, so I'm going behind that island. I'm waiting for this guy, and then I have to spot him for myself, and then I'm taking the ambush and getting some torps off. And the game will end in a dogfight with a Loyang, face mask down, shooting each other, and you can see the guns in action and you can see the RNG in action. So this game definitely should have been a Kraken, but RNG really trolled me very hard here against the Loyang. And so it's probably a damage record. I don't know if it is the world record, at least it's my personal record. It's going to be like 225. We have an AFK ship as well, but I don't care. I don't know if the guy dropped early on or didn't even start or just was frustrating leaving the game. I don't know. So I don't care for these things anymore. So damage is damage, and the game records every kill and every game, whatever. So, and this game is being followed by, I think, another 6 or 7 different situations, dogfights with destroyers, carrier games, raider cruiser games, how I kill raider cruisers, close range, and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff for you guys to come if you keep watching, and you can get a good feeling of what this ship can do and what it cannot do. Still one of the worst destroyers, but if you have the skill for it, you can really do some stuff in it. I think the average player will still struggle, but if you are skilled, you can do some stuff in that thing. So having said that, thanks for watching. Enjoy the next 50 minutes and leave your comments, leave your thumbs up, and have a good time. And thank you out there. Bye bye.
Gegnerischer Kreuzer versenkt. Maschinenboost aktiviert. Gute Arbeit. Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff
Unser Team
versenkt.
hat die Führung übernommen.
So wird's gemacht. Unterstützung. Maschinenboost deaktiviert. Gegnerisches Schlachtschiff zerstört. So wird's gemacht. Gegnerisches Schlachtschiff gesunken.
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
Verstanden. Maschinenboost aktiviert.
Kamerad, ich brauche Ihre Unterstützung. Jawohl. Kamerad, ich brauche Ihre Unterstützung. Kommen Sie zurück. Kommen Sie zurück. Verstanden.
Gegnerische Streitkräfte am Horizont gesichtet.
Kommen Sie zurück.
Gute Arbeit. Alle Stationen, Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren. Torpedos auf Backbord! Torpedos voraus! Wir haben ein Leck unterhalb der Wasserlinie. Wir laufen schnell voll. Problem gelöst. Achtung, melde Zielposition. Feuer auf gegnerische Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels. Alle Stationen, Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren. Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels. Feuer auf gegnerisches Kriegsschiff konzentrieren. Position eines strategischen Ziels.
Fordere Unterstützung an.
Maschinenboost deaktiviert. Achtung, Beschützen der Basis ist unsere Hauptaufgabe. Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren. Alle Stationen, Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren.
Kommen Sie zurück. Jawohl.
Alle Stationen, Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren.
Ich brauche Unterstützung. Ich brauche Hilfe. Fordere Unterstützung an. Wir wurden entdeckt. Kamerad, ich brauche Ihre Unterstützung.
Wir haben einen gegnerischen Zerstörer versenkt. Gute Arbeit.
Wir wurden entdeckt.
Alle Stationen, brauche Feuerunterstützung. Gute Arbeit.
Ich brauche Unterstützung.
Stationen. Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren. Feuer auf gegnerisches Kriegsschiff konzentrieren. Feuer auf gegnerisches Kriegsschiff konzentrieren. Gute
Torpedos
Arbeit.
direkt voraus.
Gute Arbeit.
Ich brauche Aufklärung.
Sie dürfen die Basis nicht bekommen.
Bestätige.
Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren.
Fordere
Maschinenboost
Unterstützung an.
deaktiviert.
Kommen Sie zurück.
Wir wurden entdeckt.
Feuer auf gegnerisches Kriegsschiff konzentrieren. So wird's gemacht. Gegnerisches Schlachtschiff gesunken.
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
Fordere Hilfe an.
Haltet die Basis auf irgendeine Weise.
Ich brauche Hilfe.
Kritischer Maschinenschaden. Problem gelöst. Gute Arbeit. Wir haben einen gegnerischen Zerstörer versenkt.
Station.
Maschinenboost aktiviert. Gegnerische Streitkräfte am Horizont gesichtet. Kritischer Maschinenschaden. Problem gelöst. Alle Kräfte, dieses Ziel decken.
Fordere Hilfe an. Verstanden.
Maschinenboost deaktiviert.
Wir wurden entdeckt.
Alle Stationen, Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren.
Kamerad, ich brauche Ihre Unterstützung.
Gegnerischen Zerstörer entdeckt.
Ich brauche Hilfe. Fordere Unterstützung an.
Maschinenboost aktiviert.
Fordere Hilfe an. Ich brauche Unterstützung.
Feuer auf gegnerisches Kriegsschiff konzentrieren.
Jawohl.
Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels.
Bestätige.
Kommen Sie zurück!
So wird's gemacht. Gegnerischer Flugzeugträger zerstört. Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren. Maschinenboost aktiviert. Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren. Kritischer Maschinenschaden.
Endet in 5 Minuten.
Kritischer Maschinenschaden.
Gefechtsstation.
Maschinenboost aktiviert.
Kamerad, ich brauche Ihre Unterstützung.
Alle Stationen, schützt das Ziel. Gegnerische Streitkräfte entdeckt. Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels.
Ich brauche Aufklärung.
Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren. Maschinenboost aktiviert. So wird's gemacht. Gute Arbeit. Alle Stationen, Feuer auf das Ziel konzentrieren. Gegnerischen Kreuzer gesichtet.
Ich brauche Aufklärung.
Gute Arbeit. Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels. Alle Stationen, melde Position eines strategischen Ziels.
Fordere Hilfe an.
Alle Stationen, brauche Feuerunterstützung. Maschinenboost deaktiviert.
Fordere Hilfe an.
Bestätige.
Gegnerische Schlachtschiff versenkt. Feuer auf festgelegtes Ziel konzentrieren. Gegnerischer Kreuzer versenkt.